be able to get one of two flights back to the UK after plans were announced to repatriate them. Sweeper flights will pick up passengers from 4 different regional areas on Tuesday and travel to the capital Manila, where 2 Philippine airline planes will be waiting to take people home. The BBC's Howard Johnson is in Manila and he sent us the details.
The British ambassador to the Philippines says many hundreds of UK nationals remain stranded here. So today what he has announced in partnership with Philippine Airlines is a series of sweeper flights next Tuesday, April the 7th, to pick up stranded UK nationals from Bohol, Palawan, Cebu and Siargao. What will happen is those flights will then come up to here, Manila, to the main international airport, and 2 flights will then take them back to London Heathrow. The cost per flight will be £1,000. That's inclusive of the sweeper flights. And also what we've heard is that if people can't afford those tickets, there will be a credit scheme available to them so that they can pay back the money at a later date. The tickets are only for UK tourists who are stranded here, and there will be priority to the vulnerable, the elderly, or people in need of medical assistance. Now, what we're also hearing on social media is that many people are not in these parts of the country and they're concerned that they won't be picked up by these flights. So no doubt the British Embassy will have to look at other ways to go around the rest of the country to pick up other UK nationals to get them back to the UK.
In the Philippines. Let's return now to the breaking news. Sir Kier Starmer has been elected leader of the Labour Party in the UK. The 57-year-old defeated Rebecca Long-Bailey and Lisa Nandy in a party ballot of party members, trade unionists and registered supporters. He succeeds Jeremy Corbyn as leader of Her Majesty's opposition. He said his task was to lead this great party into a new era with confidence and hope.
It is the honour and the privilege of my life to be elected as leader of the Labour Party. It comes at a moment like none other in our lifetime. Coronavirus has brought normal life to a halt. Our cities, our towns and our villages are silent. Our roads deserted. Public life has all but come to a standstill, and we're missing each other. People are frightened by the strangeness, anxious about what will happen next. And we have to remember that every number is a family shaken to its foundation, unable even to carry out the most poignant of ceremonies, a funeral, in the way that they would like. It reminds us of how precious life is, but also how fragile. It reminds us of what really matters. Our family, our friends, our relationships, the love we have for one another, our health, our connections with those that we don't know, a greeting from a stranger, a kind word from a neighbour. These make up society. They remind us that we share our lives together. We have to trust one another and look after one another. And I could see this happening. People coming together to help the isolated and the vulnerable, checking on their neighbours. So many volunteering for the NHS. Millions of people doing their bit to stop this virus and to save lives. Our willingness to come together like this as a nation has been lying dormant for too long, when millions of us stepped out onto our doorsteps to applaud the carers, visibly moved. There was hope of a better future.
Video statement from Sir Kier Starmer, the newly elected leader of the Labour Party in the UK. Now, a new hospital is opened in East London dedicated to treating coronavirus patients. It was built in just 9 days, what was previously known as the London Excel Centre. It's going to be called the Nightingale Hospital, and it will start treating patients next week. I thought we'd take a look at who the hospital was named after, since that title is going to be used by similar hospitals being built at fast pace in big cities around the country. Well, the director of the Florence Nightingale Museum says her message is about nurses' hand washing is as relevant now as it was 100 years ago. He is David Green, and he joins us now. David, thank you very much for speaking to BBC News, to audiences in the UK and around the world, and even internationally. Of course, Florence Nightingale's name is known. Just remind us briefly, if you can, what it is she is best known for.
Well, Nightingale is certainly best known as the mother of modern nursing, but she was also a fantastic statistician who really used evidence for the first time to look at how nursing could cure people. And so it really comes together at times like this that we see how she was so instrumental in helping find cures and bring about a better way for patients.
What about this question then about personal hygiene? Because in the hospital she was treating, never mind the battlefield conditions which she endured, I think, in the Crimea, hygiene would have been quite low on the list of priorities.
Well, when she arrived at Scutari Hospital in Turkey, where she was treating the victims from the Crimea, ultimately it was a mess. It was disease-ridden, there were rats, there was even a horse within the well. And the first thing she set about doing was actually a mass clean-up, partly because the doctors who were there didn't want her there because she was a woman, but also because cleanliness was clearly going to be a way forward. She'd learned when she was in her first job at Harley Street that hot water was really, really important. And so she began the clean-up, and immediately, once you start making the environment cleaner, you certainly start having a big impact on the patient. The same with fresh air too. So that's very much the principles with which her nursing really started from.
Now, obviously the museum is closed at the moment, as institutions are around the world, but when you do have the opportunity to reopen again, hopefully in a few months' time, remind people where you are and what sort of things they can see there.
Certainly, we're based within St Thomas's Hospital, where the former Nightingale Nursing School was actually based. So a great historic link for us there, and they are ultimately fantastic landlords to us. But we're here, we look after her lamp from Scutari, so she's known as the Lady with the Lamp. You can come and see it here. Just over my shoulder, you may catch a glimpse of her medicine chest, the one that she actually took with her to Scutari, so it was there at the Crimea.
It sounds like you have a fascinating collection. Thanks very much for talking to us. David Green, there, at the Florence Nightingale Hospital. Now, climbing Mount Everest is the dream for many explorers, even those sensibly staying at home. John Griffin traded compass and crampons for a staircase and banister as he climbed the equivalent of the world's largest mountain in his own home. Duncan Kennedy has more.
Wish me luck. Here we go. Bye.
In these times of great uncertainty, life really does have its peaks and troughs.
Ooh, that's right.
But John Griffin has peaked higher than most
Total height is 8,850 metres.
by climbing the equivalent of Mount Everest using just the stairs in his house.
It was an offhand remark to my wife. Literally a week ago today in the morning, I walked upstairs to the bedroom for the 5th time, and I said to her, by the time this lockdown is over, I will have climbed Everest.
So he did it for real. 29,000 feet or 41,000 steps.
I've got to get to 75% minimum today.
6 hours a day for 4 days. But coming down doesn't count towards the total.
I've just got to sit down for a minute.
By day 3, it was peas on knees for this stairway to hell.
My lovely wife suggested sticking frozen peas on it. Daisy!
Even stair climbers have Sherpas. During what's also a sponsored effort by John to raise money to help people who use food banks.
Alexa, play Move Any Mountain.
He joins a growing list of highly inventive COVID-19 isolation feats, from home Olympics to full marathons on balconies and gardens. Kind of social long distancing. At the end of this, will you be moving to a bungalow?
No, we just moved from the bungalow, so... Through the door. Yeah!
John summited last night to his waiting wife Neri, daughter Daisy and his neighbours. Ending the kind of uplifting achievement he hopes will soon put everyone back on top of the world.
Thank you!
Duncan Kennedy, BBC News.
And you're watching BBC News.